Hey everybody, Tim and Julie here for another episode of Batman 1966, Season 1, Episode 23 and 24, Ring of Wax, Give 'em the Axe. I think this puts us at 10 episodes, 5 more stories until we're done with Season 1. So right off the bat, what'd you think?
It was pretty boring.
It was, okay.
I caught myself dozing a couple times.
Okay. So what about it? Why did you think it was boring? So for those who don't know, real quick, I'll jump in. Sorry to interrupt. A lot of the titles are obvious who the villain is. Mm-hmm. This one, when we did the last video, whatever that was, I don't even remember. I didn't know who the villain was going to be. Right. I was like, okay, it's something with wax and axe. I don't know. So the villain for this two-parter story is the Riddler. So that's an interesting note right there. So what about it did you not like? I'm not disagreeing. I completely agree.
This was slow, I guess.
It was slow? Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the first time I saw the Riddler without his mask.
Okay.
So it took me a moment when they were in their other outfits.
Oh, yeah, when they were in disguise.
In disguise.
Yep.
Okay, is that the Riddler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was disguised as George Washington or something.
Something like that.
Yep, I gotcha. Okay. So for me, part of the reason I didn't particularly care for this episode either was a lot of the Riddler's riddles basically kind of had to do with Gotham City. It's one of those where, it's very flat, and you're like, okay. Because I consider myself to be relatively clever. But, some of the riddles, I forgot exactly what it was. But it was what has 4 legs, but never barks, or something. Or 4, whatever. It doesn't matter. But it ended up being the lion from the Gotham, library. And I was like, how the fuck would we know that?
Yeah.
Something easy, the first riddle, what's black and white and red all over? It's a newspaper.
Right.
Any kid knows that riddle.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Whatever the second riddle, what has 4 legs but never barks or something, doesn't, or whatever. And I was like, I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, okay, what is this? I can get this. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't. And then when Batman's like, it's the lion from the Gotham City Library. How the fuck am I supposed to know that? Realistically, those are the types of riddles that I don't like. Mm-hmm. Because there's no chance for us as the audience.
Right, because how often do they show the library?
You and I live in the Portland metropolitan area. Mm-hmm. That being said, is there a lion at a library that I don't know about? It's one of those, it's so Gotham City specific. I don't like it. I like when the Riddler, when they're, especially if you read the comics, which I've read a lot of the comics. You haven't so much. But when you read the comics, those riddles are really well done because they're trying for the reader. They can, with the way they're written, they want the reader to be okay, what is it? And then once you get the answer, you're like, I should have known that. But you don't.
Yeah.
So, and that's perfect. That's literally the point of a riddle. Mm-hmm. Is for the person hearing it to be like, oh, it's right there. Yeah. But then you miss it. The lion at a Gotham City library, nobody's going to guess that. So this episode, I don't know if other episodes have done that. I know we've talked about other Riddler episodes where he says them so quick.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten them. But this one specifically seems so nitpicky that I was there's no way. If I had enough time for the other ones, even though you said 5 of them in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
If I had enough time, I'd get them. This one, there's literally no way that I would ever guess, oh, it's the Gotham City Library. But, I don't know. That's me. That's my big rant for this one, because it pissed me off a little bit. 4 minutes. 4-minute rant. There you go. I don't, like you said, the episode, I don't know. I wouldn't say I thought it was boring, but it did seem to drag. The whole thing was, something about the lost treasure of the Incas. Like, and then like slowly, I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on. And I think that was all. We see a little bit of Robin because Robin is smaller than Bruce. He can fit in the smaller areas, and I was like, which we saw a little bit in the serials, where Robin was always the smaller one.
Right. Then when they got caught and hung up from above the wax candle.
Which now you think about nowadays, how people pay for that, where they like people with arthritis like stick their hands in wax and stuff like that. I was like, they're ahead of their time.
Yeah.
No big deal. I think this was the first time we've seen like the bat ram, where he like popped up the little ram on the Batmobile and burst open the doors. I have heartburn. Sorry. I don't know. Maybe you slept through that part.
Well, when it
was like a little bumper right on the front of the Batmobile.
But when Riddler said that he gets to drive, he was going to drive the Batmobile, but he cut the security.
Okay.
The security.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was no more reference to that when Batman drove it, like anything was.
Right. So yeah, this whole episode, it kind of felt very filler-ish. Like it was just kind of a miss.
And like towards the end when they had their little fights and stuff, and it's like the Riddler just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel you. So yeah, I'd say this was kind of right in the middle. Like it wasn't the worst episode we've ever seen. It wasn't the worst episode Little Bear's ever seen.
Yeah, what did you think of it, Little Bear?
Little Bear doesn't care. He's just like, I just want treats. How many treats were in this episode? But it definitely wasn't the best. Like, it was kind of just, whatever. Any other closing thoughts?
No.
Any other closing riddles? Little Bear wants to know how many treats are in the treat bag. That is the riddle for the day. Okay. Okay. Anything else? No? You're good? Okay. So for those who have seen this one, I don't know, for me, like anytime that, I don't know, because anytime the Riddler shows up, because he was the first villain we ever saw, I'm like, oh look, it's the Riddler again. Like even though I'm more, the Joker's always going to be my favorite villain, but anytime the Riddler shows up, I'm like, he's back. But whatever. So for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think about the Riddler? What did you think about his like Gotham City specific riddles? What did you think overall? Go ahead, let us know. And we will see you guys next time for The Joker Trumps an Ace, which I guess we can tell who the villain's going to be for that one. And Batman Sets the Pace.